Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh, and here we have a game between SeleCT, representing Dignitas Gaming. He is the blue Terran up here in the top right of Blistering Sands, and his opponent today is going to be VT Future. He just recently joined VT Gaming, if I'm not mistaken. He is the red Protoss down here in the bottom left of Blistering Sands, representing, obviously, VT Gaming. So here we go. This is Game 3 between these two teams, VT Gaming and Dignitas Gaming. So far, the score is 1-1. I'm not going to say who beat who, but this is the third game out of 4, and if there's a tie at the end of the 4 games, they will go on to a Game 5 ace match, where each team just picks one of their 4 players to play, and the other team also picks one of their 4 players. Then they do an ace match, and whoever wins the series. But they are playing the series for the Gosu Coaching Premier League, hosted by gosucoaching.com. Go check it out. It is a league taking place over several weeks between a lot of the top teams in the world. No Korean teams, unfortunately, like OGS, but instead a bunch of European and North American teams like Root Gaming, EG, Team Liquid, and Dignitas, and Mouse Sports. Just really, really good teams. So far, like I said, this series between Dignitas and VT is at 1-1. Let's see if Future can take home another win for VT Gaming, or if SeleCT will take home another win for Dignitas. And SeleCT you are probably familiar with, as he did get second place to Idra at MLG DC. VT Future, people may or may not actually know, but he is a great guy. He's competed at a couple of the MLG events as well, has not gotten quite as far as SeleCT, but wins a lot of games himself too, so he has, of course, a shot of beating SeleCT. No problems believing that at all. Both of these guys play a ton of games. SeleCT does have probably one of the best win percentages on the North American server of anybody ever. I think it's like 72%, so I'm sure these guys have played each other before in the past, but those past games don't really matter. It's all about this one, to see which guy can help his team out the most. And SeleCT taking a few little particle beams there from Future's probes before getting out of there. He's going to see nothing surprising here. Really not going to gain too much information before that cybernetics core is done anyway. So he's just going to hang out. I actually probably would have suggested he hang out behind these visibility blockers and just come back later, and that looks like that's what he's going to do. Future, on the other hand, did get a little peek into SeleCT's base, but I'm sure that Marine, the first Marines, maybe scared him away. Assuming he has a Marine. Yeah, he has 2 Marines. There he was. Yeah, so these Marines actually kept him out of the base. Future didn't want to lose his probe for no reason. SCV still hanging around. One more whack from this Zealot or another little laser shot from a probe will kill it, so SeleCT is just going to get out of there. Future, unfortunately, not going to catch it with this sentry either. He's going to leave it near the ramp for a potential force field in case SeleCT shows up unannounced. Gateway number 2 is being dropped. Not sure how many he's going to end up with. SeleCT back at home getting a reactor up on his first barracks, and his factory over here still add-on-less, but we'll see what he chooses to put on there, if anything, or if he's just going to make a Hellion right away. He's getting a tech lab and a second barracks. I thought for a second that might be a starport, and then he would just flip it around very quickly, but nope, he's getting a second racks, goodness. Second racks, first one with the reactor, second one probably going to take that tech lab. If he doesn't start building anything with it immediately, we'll see what he does. Nothing crazy yet. What are you going to do with it, SeleCT? There he is, building a tank now and getting siege tech, so the barracks will probably have to get the tech lab of its own. Future did drop gateway number 3 here, and he's chrono boosting warp gate tech. That probe that was sent out way earlier is dropping a pylon now at the Zelnaga tower. Of course, the benefit to this is you can warp in down at the low ground and come attack these destructible rocks, or you can come attack this command center if there ever happens to actually be one. Reactor number 2 coming from SeleCT on this barracks. Interesting. So he's going to just have mass tank marine to start this game off. Still a viable choice, of course. Future warping in a couple of tier 1 units out of those gateways, out of those warp gates, I should say. Back at home, switching up the production tab here, he's chrono boosting his 3 gates. Of course, he knows, I'm sure, that 4 gates are actually viable off of 1 base, as his money is starting to get a little bit high. Not sure what he's going to do next. Could get a robotics facility, of course, as well, or try to expand after doing some damage, or at least attacking SeleCT. Trying to see what he can do. Select hiding his Marines here. Guardian Shield goes up, so Future is going to be sandwiched just a little bit. Going to take out the ones on the low ground first. Drop Force Fields behind these Marines so he can actually kill them off one by one as long as he gets these Stalkers up here. Actually, he's focusing elsewhere, not focusing down the Marines. You saw a bunch of stray shots on that supply depot. Select pulled a ton of SCVs here, and these 2 siege tanks, oh my goodness, these are going to be all Select needs to actually ward this off. The SCVs were pulled that they didn't even repair up this supply depot. There we go. And so Select did lose some mining time and a lot of Marines, but that's essentially it. There's no supply depot back here to watch for these destructible rocks, but Select already knows what's going to happen, of course. He's played this game so many times. He knows the next logical choices that come to these destructible rocks, and Select does have the siege tank already parked here, blasting away at the Stalkers, so Future is forced to back off. He is up to 3 gates and a single robotics facility is warping in now, should be completed here soon. Select, of course, sticking with Tank Marine for the time being, not getting this barracks onto a tech lab to try and get some upgrades or anything. Select looks like he wants to break down his own backdoor now so he can just be the master of his own base. He knows exactly what's going to happen, doesn't need to build a supply depot back here to watch what's going on. He can just come freely as he wishes. Nexus going up for Future and a pylon out at the front. He's going to continue to warp things in, as well as an observer here. Probably wants to get, I don't know, some immortals next, since tanks are a very real option. Select bringing a lot of SCVs here. Wow. How many SCVs was that? He's bringing 8 SCVs along with this ton of Marines and 3 siege tanks acting as a repair force, no doubt. Future back at home has a lot of tier 1 units. He's sitting at 53 supply against Select's 55. Of course, Select is going to have a lot lower mineral income during all this, but if he can actually overwhelm Future with these repairs and with these SCVs soaking some shots, Select is going to be in great shape. Once again, he does not have combat shields or Stimpack finish. He's just moving in with the brute force of these high DPS Marines and tanks and building some bunkers here at the front line so Future cannot leave his main. Going to siege up this natural expansion. Unfortunately, Future looks like he's going to have to cancel this Nexus, and he does. Pylon goes down. Assimilator most likely going to go down next, and Select is reinforcing through the middle of the map. You can see a lot of blue dots coming along, tanks and Marines both. He sieges up on the low ground, drops a scan on the high ground, gets a couple of blasts off. Future actually warped in some Stalkers over there. It looks like he's going to try and do a little bit of a counterattack, but I have to imagine Select's force here at the front is going to be more than enough to kill off what Future actually has here. Future doesn't have enough for so much as a force field, let alone a Guardian Shield, and these tanks sieging everything, it's going to make it very, very difficult for Future to come out of his own base. He's going to need enough Stalkers essentially to break through 4 sieged tanks, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. So Select just continuing to bunker up here. Stalkers are doing essentially nothing over in Select space, but we've got it in the picture-in-picture anyway. Yeah, this number of Marines here is just way too high. He's got 4 tucked here in this bunker as well, and even SCVs getting in on the fun, drilling away the Cybernetics Core. Future being forced to pull all his probes. He's supply blocked, no real options left, just building more probes and another pylon. So this is pretty much evident to anyone who's played this game that Future is going to be losing this game. It's just a matter of time, really. He can pull up his siege tanks at any moment, come up here and solidify this force and just attack whatever he wants. Future has a lot of Stalkers and Zealots, I guess, but Select just has way more tanks and Marines than needed to actually kill this off. So Nexus is finished off. Future doesn't have anything else going on, just some pylons. He's trying to hang on to the bitter end, but that Stalker attack wasn't too successful. He's not going to be able to warp in anything else as he is supply blocked. He has too many probes to actually build back any army. He is trying to expand over here to this just normal base. I'm surprised. He really, really wants to win this for VT Gaming, but Select really just has an unbeatable force right now, cranking out 4 Marines at a time as well to supplement this force, and Future is going to lose his last couple of pylons and refinery here. He's doing basically an all-in attack, so I'm going to switch and see what's going on here. Starting to drill and shoot at this tank. Select pulling a lot of SCVs and Marines, but getting into a base race with a Terran. Future knows what he's getting into. Obviously, buildings can just lift off like this orbital command. He could actually fly out over the space here and keep this orbital command alive. Select is finishing off all the buildings in Future's base. Future is trying to kill off what remains of Select space, so the space trade is actually trying to happen here, but The Orbital Command still with a lot of health, not burning down just yet. Let's look at the income tab. Both players at 0, of course. Select only down to 8 workers, while Future has quite a lot, but now Select is bringing his tanks and Marines home to actually defend the remainder of his buildings. Future actually dropped another Nexus here at Future's spawn position. Lots of Marines still alive, though. Let's look at the units just for a second. 19 Marines and 4 tanks against a Zealot and 5 Stalkers. These are all the Stalkers right here against this number of Marines and tanks. I have to imagine, even with some amazing kiting, Future is probably going to lose these as well. This base race was pretty amusing, but very evidently in Select's favor the entire time, and Select is rebuilding over at Future's natural anyway, so Future is going to GG. This was his last remaining building on the map. He didn't even have his pylon here at the Xel'Naga Tower anymore. It looks like he did sneak a probe over here to maybe try and build another pylon, but he's out of minerals, had no supply, and this was his last building, so at least he put up a fight to the bitter end, and now the series is in favor of Dignitas Gaming 2-1. Let's go see if Spades will take on D Killer, Dignitas Killer, the Zerg player, to see if he can tie this up, and if we will see an ace match or not between VT Gaming and Dignitas Gaming for the Gosu Coaching Premier League, hosted by GosuCoaching.com.